Don't worry about it.
That happened in Detroit, man. They look out. Folks look out. You go places and they just like, get out of there.
It's crazy.
They love their sports.
Yeah.
First off, okay, Calvin, don't do that. It's not Detroit, it's you.
Nah,
Look at him. They do that a lot.
See,
you would be out
you would be out even you, Ryan. See, you see it here.
It's you, Calvin. They know you.
Yeah.
You 7'8".
You like the basketball players that try to walk little and sneak around.
Can't go nowhere.
Them Joe 6'11" and be walking like this too long. Man, they see your big ass. Stand up. Hey.
But like I was telling Freddie T, man, he don't understand what that week of prep like when you're gonna play Calvin. I used to be sitting in the meeting. I used to be like, yeah, Troy, so if they come out in this formation, you know, it's the one where they really like to go to Calvin, you should probably go to his side. You should go over there.
Nah, coach, I'm gonna stay weak.
I said, hey, coach, I said, the Hall of Famer is gonna be over there. that ain't my side.
I'm gonna stay weak. I'm gonna just, I'm comfortable over there.
That section.
Hold up, limitless, take a stomach, got a pin in it. I fought the head to witness it. Got my people feeling militant. Way I'm feeling, got me up. On the mission, got me up. Knowing me, I got the key. Only vision I can trust. Limitless, take a stomach, got a pin in it. I fought the head to witness it. Got my people feeling militant. Way I'm feeling, got me up. On the mission, got me up. Knowing me, I got the key.
Welcome to the Pivot, bro. It is an honor for us three to have you sit down with us. Channing, Freddie T, I'm RC. Just being here in Detroit, and Freddie T was talking about it at the draft, you guys bring out the current stars of the team, the Jared Goffs, the Hutchinsons, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and also you and Barry Sanders, Hall of Famers, first ballot guys, no question guys. And y'all walk up to the mic, and combined, y'all probably said 5 words. Right?
Go Lions.
Detroit, what up, though? What up, though? That
Bro,
was it.
what has it been like to have this immense amount of talent, yet truly, like, not just one of those people that fakes modesty, but behaves in such a humble way?
Man, it's just the way I was raised, man. Grandfather, Baptist preacher. My mom is now a minister, but you would have thought she was a minister back in the day, the way she treated everybody in the household, So it wasn't no strand, too far from the word back in the day, But really, what that just taught us was a level of discipline, that carried with us, throughout our life. Now, on top of that, just seeing them go to work day in, day out.
Yeah.
Put their head down. My mom was a teacher, flight attendant. She done, went on to get her PhD or her doctorate and stuff like that. Just continually elevating, her game. My dad, just Mr. Consistent. He worked for the railroad for 30 plus years. Day in, day out, he on call. They might call him middle of the afternoon. We had a baseball game. They might call him at night when we had dinner. We don't know. But, he's just consistent, go to work, come home, take care of his family, So just being able to see that, it wasn't a whole bunch of like hoopla and all that, just consistency,
Bro, fame ain't changed you at all? Because I'm with you. Like, I understand growing up and being modest and having a good family behind you and everybody knows that. But now you're the best receiver in the world. Now your name is Megatron. Like, you're named after a character in a movie. You ain't changed at all. Like, that didn't move anything.
I like nice things. Sure. I like nicer things that I probably did. I had, better taste maybe.
Yeah.
That's about it. I don't think it hasn't changed the way I act. If you ask other people, maybe, because it strains some relationships. Because it's tough when you get into, as you all know, when you get into this position, and a lot of people want things, from you, depending on whether it's just your time, your money, or just you. So just being able to say no, that's it's been tough. It's strained some relationships, but at the end of the day, you just can't just give. Not that you don't want to give, but you can't just give your time and not be conscious of retaining some of that time for yourself.
Before I ask my question, I want to say this. Can we have a quick debate? Megatron gotta be the coolest nickname in all the sports.
Yeah, it's dang good.
I don't know a nickname better.
It's dang good. And I think the reason it's such a great nickname is because he didn't give it to himself.
Correct.
Right? Like a lot of these nicknames, like people give them to themselves, like they want to be called that.
Right.
And for your nickname to be so synonymous with your athletic ability and style of play that it's just that name and you know who the hell you're talking about, it's definitely the best in football.
How about the round mound, the rebound?
That's a lot of words.
Come on, man. I enjoy that one.
And it's partial to me. I think there's no greater nickname than Air. Air Jordan is, that is.
Megatron was a bad man, bro.
Yeah, Megatron. Hey, we knew what happened when Megatron showed up. But going back to my question, Noonan, Georgia, your childhood and growing up there, what was it like? What are some of your fondest memories? And when did you know that you had an opportunity to eventually go this far and be a star?
Man, yeah, born down there in Noonan, raised in College Park, in Tyrone, Georgia, down there on the south side, man. I go back to College Park, man. I was fortunate we are outside, man. It ain't like today, you know. We're playing outside all the time. Right. You know, my friends down the street, remember Keisha, Patisha. You know, Patisha was a badass, she, you know, professional basketball player. You know, she was always whooping my tail playing basketball as a kid, you know. So that in itself kept me humble. You know, just her whooping my behind all the time, but it just always pushed me to be better. I'm like, man, I can't take this, man. You got to do better. I can't have her whooping my ass all the time. But at the end of the day, you know, her, my sister, and, you know, all my friends in the neighborhood, we were always just in the yard playing baseball, football in the street. You know, the sidelines is the curb. Mm-hmm. You know, baseball in the circle, in the cul-de-sac. You know, basketball in the backyard, you know, just whatever. You know, we were always doing something outside. And this competition, I think that's just what it is. Just love to compete. Just love to play, you know, and essentially, you know, that just continued to elevate and, you know, and become more organized throughout sports. And, you know, baseball is my true first love. Yeah. I got drafted out of high school for baseball, but by that time, though, I had started playing football at 7th grade. My mom wouldn't let me play when I was little. I wanted to play the Fairburn Flames. I wanted to play because they had, you know, blue helmets with orange flames on it. It just looked cool. Right. You know, but she didn't let me play because she didn't want me to get hurt till 7th grade. And at that time, you know, I was a scrub. I was running back, you know, DB, had to hit my growth spurt. Yeah. High school, hit my growth spurt, lanky, don't know how to control my body. But, you know, it was really, at the end of the day, the team sport that what football was, that it took everybody to do their job in order for us to have success. And when we were able to do that, the feeling from that was just like, I mean, that's like the ultimate feeling. It's better than baseball. You know, you winning in baseball is better than winning in basketball. You know, track is a solo sport. Just being able to do that with your brothers, you know. So I think that's why it took over, you know, just my love of sport.
You say your sisters and Marquise, what was her name?
Patisha.
They used to beat your ass then. Channing used to get his ass beat by his sister with a car antenna.
Yeah, my sister beat me with a car antenna one time. And then I threw a frozen Kool-Aid cup at her back. And then I got beat again for hitting my sister.
But that's how it was back in the day. Yeah. Like you just get, like, the cord is handy. You know, you get whipped with the cord, you know. But I'm with you though. Like, first time I hit my sister, bro, and that wasn't the first time, but it was the first time when I got older. I was like 13 or something years old. We used to fight all the time growing up. She was 4 years older than me. But one time I got a little older, you know, she hit me she hit me in my face or something. And I punched her right in the chest. She just sat, she fell back in the chair, and she was like, wait till daddy get home. I went to the basement and hid the rest of the day. And my dad came home from work. I was hoping he didn't come home from work till like night while we were asleep. He came home and I heard, doom, 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 doom. See? They call me C. I went upstairs, my dad's the scariest I've ever been in my life. My dad picked me up by my shirt, picked me up in the air, put me on the wall. You ever hit a woman, you ever hit your sister again, boy. And I forgot what he said after that. He might say he killed me, but.
But you know what though? That was the way we learned lessons.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And, you know, even if it wasn't the conversation about, hey, just let me sit you down and tell you about how you're supposed to treat a woman, you learn through family. Mm-hmm. And that's what parenting is. Also, you mentioned like your taste changing. You also do like white people activities and rich people activities now. Bro, you ski and snowboard? Boy, you know you ain't grow up skiing.
RC.
Like, bro, come on now, Calvin.
RC, I told you.
How the hell you got into skiing?
All right. So, you know, I'm from Georgia, I don't do nothing on ice. But I came up here in Michigan, you know, my wife was always trying to get me to ski like towards the end of my career. She's like, come on, let's try it out, you'll like it. And I was like, babe, I don't do nothing on ice. And when I finally retired, she got me out there to go try it out. I tried out skiing and, you know, I enjoyed it. I skied for a year. And then I switched over to snowboard because I had a couple instances where one ski would do something the other ski wouldn't do, and then get like this. I'm like, that's terrible for your knee, like all that weight and stuff. So I like, let me get on the board, and because I like being locked in, and man, I ain't looked back, bro. I love being on the mountain, man. If it was snow on the mountain all year, I would snowboard all year.
You ever figured out surfing?
I tried surfing, but you know, I've always had a healthy respect for sharks because of Jaws when I was a kid, man. It just messed me up, man. It ain't my element. I was my element.
So when you on the lift, your skis are still touching the ice, right? Your ass is too big to be on that lift.
I do, when me and the wife be riding, I do weigh it down, like my joint be leaning like this.
I tried to tell him my ski story. So Andy took me out, and she was, I'm like, she's a non-athlete, I got this. So I go out there and I'm trying for 5 hours nonstop, no water. First time really on the slopes, but you get dehydrated. Your body fools you, it's cold. So I go up to the blue, I cramp up. and the skis moving fast. I'm going this way, that way. I took them skis off, I chunked them shits to the side, and I walked down. Take me back down, so I had to go catch that lift. Took me way up to the top gondola, and then I had 2 or 3 drinks, like I'm done skiing forever. And I went down, I turned it into rentals, and I retired it. I got on the board, I boarded for a couple years, then I kept falling. I was like, man, fuck this. I'm tired. I ain't falling for free. I used to get paid to fall. You know what I'm saying? So, but that's my life in skiing. I have to commend you for sticking with it if you're really good. Yeah.
Man, I want to be doing it when I'm 60 years old, man. So, yeah.
You mentioned your wife and her pushing you to do things. You know, you also didn't get married during your career. Yeah. And you spoke about the balance of wanting to be a great athlete, but also wanting to be a great husband. Mm-hmm. In waiting, what was a bigger deal to you? Was it, I want to be a great athlete, or I want to be a great husband, and I know I can't do that while playing?
I think it was everything you just said there.
Yeah.
It was exactly that. I knew, for me, the selfishness that I had, the things that I did take care of my body, the time that I spent, you know, after I come home from work, which ain't until 6 o'clock maybe, like, I got like an hour maybe to give to somebody else. There's like an hour of downtime where I'm probably not doing anything. Yeah. You know, I'm just like, that's not no way to treat another person that you want to spend the rest of your life with, giving them an hour of your day, because I'm gone at 5, 5:30, maybe at the latest 6 o'clock, back home at 6 o'clock, in my hyperbaric chamber doing my treatment. And then, like I said, I got an hour of time before I go to bed at like 9, 10, 11 o'clock. Yeah. I'm definitely going to bed before 11 o'clock, because you got to get up early. Yeah. So I just knew that I wouldn't be able to keep all those buckets full, you know, and be happy at the end of the day, and if I, you know, and keep her happy.
Yeah.
You know, that's the big part about it. I just knew I couldn't. For me, I honestly, I don't know how. Did you had a family when you
I got
played?
married when I was 24.
I don't know how you guys do it. You know, I'm like, God bless you guys. Like, it just for me, I just couldn't do it.
I can be honest, because I was like you. I did something. I had one day where I didn't do something after work. And I was an early work guy, I was a late work guy, and I was a huge studier. And so like I put my babies to sleep, and my wife might go to the room, and I'd be on my computer. You know, I had to put the disc in, and I'd be on my computer studying. So I wouldn't see them wake up, you know, and so I get that, and it is hard. And it's one of those things, you had to be with someone who understood not only how much you love them, but how much you love that football, right? And it's a very difficult balance for people who didn't grow up with something like that.
To this point, to this conversation, man, you're, like you said, Hall of Fame, but like you one of the best receivers ever to play the game. How much did you think about that? Cause like me, I didn't care. I played in the NFL, like I worked at Walgreens. Cut me loose. Now I'm going to the club. Like, yeah, y'all got this check. Give me this check, and I'm about to hit this club. But to be as great as you are and to hear like the hyperbaric chamber, Zach Thomas sold me his whole hyperbaric chamber, his old one. And I tried to figure out if I could fit somebody else in there so that we can do the nasty while the machine's on. So, you know what I'm saying? Because it's kind of that big tube, the big tube.
It's actually not comfortable enough in there.
I know, but
ears popping.
You're gonna get hot as hell though.
Yeah.
We in there for an hour.
And then when you get hot in the tight space, you get kind of claustrophobic. Like.
I know, but we can sweat on each other. I love it. But like, when certain people, when you were talking, I thought about it. Certain dudes that we have on, like how they thought about like being great. And for you to be as great as you were, like your entire day was built around being the best receiver in the world?
I mean, it really was. I mean, just focusing on what's going in and out of my body, what I'm doing with my body all day. You know, just treating this as this is my business. And that's really like, that was all my focus, like my input and output. You know, what's happening right here? You know, how am I treating this? How am I getting this ready to go again next week? That's really where my mindset was. I mean, I can't even fathom. Like, I was going to ask you, like, what is that like?
It's hard.
Like,
It's a difficult balance, and it's about communications. If you don't communicate through it, you can't expect someone to understand it.
So you got married when you was 24. When did you meet your wife?
17.
Oh, so that's different. So y'all go back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it goes back to, as a player, you had a set schedule. You know, you're calling out your entire routine, and it was set. And I'm sure we all can agree that everybody that you know or knew respected that time. They didn't interfere with that. Nowadays, in retirement, people want to pull you left and right. Can you do this? Because you don't necessarily have that set block. Doubt, you know, in the off season, when you were playing, things probably got a little looser where you can give your time here and there, but at least for me it was a compromise. But in the off season, I get pulled.
To your point, when during season, that circle tight, you stay locked in, and like 100% in the off season. Okay, I'll miss a day, I'll be all right. I'm gonna go hang out, and I'll be all right tomorrow. I'm not getting that day in, but you can make up for that like early in the off season.
Right. Yeah.
You went to college in Atlanta. I'm sure that was a crazy experience itself. Every time we talk about Atlanta, he lights up. So I can only imagine going to Georgia Tech in the heart of Atlanta, what that experience was like.
He went to a smart school. He went to an old nerd school.
Were you highly recruited? Were you highly recruited coming out of high school, and why Georgia Tech?
There you go. See, at first I wanted to go to Oklahoma. You know, I had recruiting letters coming from everywhere. But then I had some crazy stuff go down with the coach, what he was telling me, and it wasn't lining up. So I was like, all right, you know, I'm gonna stay close to home so my family can see me play. So then it boiled down to Clemson, Georgia, Auburn, and Georgia Tech. At the end of the day, I think it just boiled down for me. You know, I was just thinking about education. I'm like, dang, if I go to Georgia Tech and I graduate from Tech, I'm good. I got a job. I'm coming out of here with a good job, and I can go work wherever I want to work if football doesn't work out, you know? So it's really kind of just academic focus to that point. When I was in high school, my mom used to send me up to, my sister went to Clark. My mom said they went to Clark, Atlanta. My mom would send me up there on the weekend to get tutored by my sister. Neither one of us liked it, but at the end of the day, after we get done tutoring, my sister, I roamed around campus with my sister, you know? So that being able to see that was part of the reason why I didn't want to go play baseball, because I got to see what the college experience was like. And being in Atlanta, man, I was at Georgia Tech. So Georgia Tech was not a lot of black folks at Georgia Tech, you know what I'm saying? So there was not a lot of, like, you know, just our culture to hang out with necessarily, but the AUC was 5 minutes away. Right. Clark, Atlanta, Spelman, you know, Morehouse, you know, so we go, you know, kick it there to AUC, you know, it was great. Like at that time, like Atlanta has changed since then. Like Buckhead has changed. Like the whole hangout, like the nightlife scene back then was totally different than what it is now. And they cleaned it up. They like, all right, we gotta get all this club and stuff about it, Buckhead. You know, keep the value up. Right. But nah, man, that's why, you know, I love being in Atlanta, man. Just that whole scene. Yeah, Georgia Tech was tough as nails. Like you won't even know. Like when you're at Georgia Tech, you don't even know you're in Atlanta. And once you step outside of there, like you say your face light up. You're like, what's up?
I got two questions about Tech though, because you go over that bridge, the varsity's on your left. Yeah. That shell's on your right.
Yeah.
You take that right.
Yeah.
What's about a half a mile down? That Magic City, baby.
The fact that you know all the turns from Georgia Tech is scary.
Oh yeah, because you go over there because they got the black colleges over there. If you don't grab a normal girl, you slide to Magic City, there's girls in there all day long.
You know what's crazy though? I swear to God, they sell Magic City wings on like Uber Eats now.
Cause Lou Williams, Lemon Pepper Lou blew up Magic City wings. They renovate.
That's wild.
You don't do that no more.
Nah, I know it.
I sent you a video. They have renovated Magic City. It's a double decker now.
Really?
Oh, Magic City off the chain. I heard.
You learn about this shit.
But it's funny. Why Tech? I was there because you was a little bit behind me. We we were both Super 11. That's like the best 11 football players in the Metro Atlanta area. We were both Super 11. He a little behind me. When I saw that you went to Tech with that Chan Gailey offense, I thought it was the dumbest thing in the world because they didn't throw the ball.
That was different though. Chan was a professional offense. Paul Johnson, when he came in, they ran the triple option.
And that's when.
So I was fortunate. I got Chan because Chan was in Dallas. He was in Dallas Cowboys. So I went there because they had a professional offense. So like they had that look. So I'm like, okay, I'm getting a professional look. All these dudes came from the league already. 2 years after I left though, Paul Johnson came in, and then Bebe, Demarius Thomas, God rest his soul, he was there. So he killed it because you got that triple option with all this. But he had the professional talent guys, but they were running the triple option. So they was unstoppable.
That was dumb. But your numbers weren't crazy though. Yeah, last year, what, like 80 catches or something like that? But
I don't even remember those.
Yeah, but them first two, because I went back and looked, I'm
There's
like,
a lot of catches in between then and now.
But I know, I've been a part of some. Yeah. But yeah, man, the tech decision, you say you made it as a educational thing.
More of 100% academic choice.
Yeah. But it's still, you don't never look at me like, damn, I should have went.
If I would have went to anywhere else, it would have been UGA. But another big part of that reason why I did go to Tech, well, it came down to my visits. I went on my official visits, and I went to my visit to UGA, man. And I ain't gonna put dude on blast. Everybody gonna hate him if I said. But I went to my visit there, and then the guy that had me on my visit, my man like dropped me off at some spot like with some other guy, like I guess some younger players, maybe some freshmen. I don't know where we got dropped off at. Somewhere in the middle of UGA big old campus. You know, I'm just like there, and we end up going to some crazy ass club and stuff. And end up the night like everybody all drunk. And anyway, it's just a bad situation.
It wasn't for you.
I'm in a situation where I'm trying to learn if I like this place, and I just get dumped in the middle of nowhere. It felt, I know I'm on campus, but it felt like the projects, you know, just the way the dorms looked at the time, you know? So then I go on my visit to Tech. I had my first experience with cannabis, you know? We're in the middle of Atlanta. We have a great time. Reggie Ball is my host. You know, he take great care of me. I'm like, this is gonna be my quarterback? Like, we gonna vibe like this? Like, it was like a done deal after that visit.
You know, a lot of what your career, when you decided to retire, a lot was focused on, okay, this man's 30 years old. It's only been 9 years. He has so much football left. And, you know, since you talked about just how difficult it was to recover and repair and be prepared to play. And I tell people all the time, the game day didn't retire me. Preparation for the game retired me. The reward was no longer worth what it took to be ready. You mentioned cannabis and your first experience with it. You know, you've been a proponent of it. How did it help you late in your career though, and why did you turn to it?
Yeah, man, I think the biggest part with cannabis is just for an athlete, it helps, you know, there's so many more applications out here now than it was really when I was using it, but, you know, I just, you know, roll one up and smoke it. But for me, it was the relaxation, the ability to wind down, especially after games. You know, it's hard to go to sleep after a game because you're just so wound up, especially, you know, when you even, you know, going on a plane after a game, you know, sitting on that plane, your legs feel like shit. You know, just all those things, just really at the end of the day, just me being able to wind down and go to sleep. Recovery, being able to get up the next day, that's everything. If you can't get your sleep, you can't go the next day. You can't go like you want to the next day. You can't be as sharp as you need to be the next day. So, I had my cannabis I rolled up. I even made edibles for the road trips. Made brownies, so when you get on the plane, take that edible like right after the game. By the time you get on the plane, night-night. You know, it's just the ability to wind down was the biggest thing, which in turn, you know, helped with recovery. But definitely a huge proponent of it because I'm from Georgia, the whole Bible Belt. You know, just the negative stigma behind cannabis down there. You know, at the time, or just in general at the time, was it just had such a bad rap. And just for me, my own experiences with it, I'm like,
It ain't that bad.
Damn, I ain't never had no trouble with this. I ain't never wanted to hit nobody or do anything crazy. I'm straight chilling.
Bro, I told people all the time, I'd much rather be around my teammates who smoked or who use marijuana than drinkers.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right? Like we can still communicate lucidly. Only thing they're gonna do is eat up all your food, if anything. You know, but and also too, like I realized that they were better that way. There was a lot of guys who would be in pain right? And, you know, 'cause it was one of my naturopathic doctors my last year, because it got to the point, man, where everything was so hard for me. I was 35, you know, and I still played like I played. And so she was like, my doctor's like, look, you know, do you know how many people get hooked on opiates and get addicted to painkillers? And she introduced me to edibles, because at that point I still had that stigma, like, man, I can't be a smoker, you know what I mean? But it was just to be able to get treatment and be needled and all those things. So I am 100% with you, and not only the stigma as it pertains to athletes, but the stigma as it pertains to people in our communities. The sort of sentences that have been handed out to people who were part of selling marijuana, when now it's something that's been legalized in so many places and the government is making money off of it.
Yeah, man, that's why we're definitely a proponent of Last Prisoner Project, man. It's one of the groups that we support, and their mission is really just they're not going to cease to exist until everybody's out of jail that is served, that is in jail serving for minor cannabis offenses. Obviously, nobody's doing anything violent or anything like that, but if you're just serving for cannabis time, that's their mission, is to get those folks out. And they have some big releases every year.
Having entered that industry, how is it, and how is business, like, how is maneuvering through that space, meeting with maybe politicians, you know, trying to get it more of on the record? Is it recreational here in Detroit?
Yes.
It is? So how do you operate in that space?
Yeah, man. I mean, we got into the space back in 2019. You know, when we did it, you know, we were in the real estate, you know, industry here, just, you know, buying a real estate, flipping homes and properties, and we ended up getting stuff in the quote unquote green zone. And at the time, it was like, man, we could be a landlord here and just collect a nice check, or we put together a team. You know, we chose the latter and put together a team with the goal of getting fully vertical, you know, and being able to be fully vertical, having our cultivation all the way through our retail, allows us to control, you know, our own prices instead of having to go up and down with the market so much. So that's been a blessing. But doing that was just part of the, you know, that's just, you know, just a step in order for us to get to where we want to go. And our mission is to be innovative in the industry, you know, create new applications. And in doing so, you know, I think about all the products that we use as players, you know, from the topicals, rehydration, you know, all the different tapes and all these things. And I'm like, man, you know, we can add this technology and cannabis and technology don't really go together, but when you're talking the size and the particle size of cannabis, we talk about nanotechnology, and that's when we talk about the micro size of the particle and the bioavailability of that product, because it's able to get to your bloodstream because it's so small and able to bypass through your intestinal system mainly. So being able to create products that are nano, which is basically all medicine now, like you think of Tylenol and all those things, it's all nanotechnology. So being able to, and the reason why we were thinking like that is because we had the ability to be in a consortium with, you know, Harvard, Johns Hopkins, UPenn. So we're able to see what they're doing right now in research, the delivery methods that they're doing, and how, you know, they're able to treat people, whether it's with cancer and whatnot, whatever different ailments. I'm like, okay, they're using nanotechnology, so we're going to get ahead of the curve. Let's put this in our products right now. And then let's use products that professional athletes are using. We're using topicals, but none of those topicals have any kind of anti-inflammatory component to them. Yeah. Let's do that. Let's add that to that. Let's create a better product there. Let's create a rehydration drink that has the cannabinoids inside of it, so we can reduce inflammation internally as well. So just a true believer in the power of cannabinoids, man.
But bro, with the marijuana stuff, right? I remember, because Rick's been on the show, Ricky Williams. Rick, a friend of mine, I played with him. I remember when he was getting criticized so heavy, I was smoking a joint, watching it on ESPN, like, damn, Rick. Bro, you know, but, and you had, like, your reputation is squeaky clean, but you know you have that stigma. Were you ever, you know, funny about, or, you know, trepidatious about coming out and supporting the cannabis? Because there's still people that think weed's a drug. Yeah. Cannabis is a drug. Yeah. Did you ever not want to attach cannabis to your name?
100%. You know, when the industry went legal in California, it was always like, man, I want to get in, but like, okay, well, how do I tell my mom, or how do I tell my family, or like the people that I grew up with always told me that cannabis was so bad. How do I tell them? You know, when my mom finally found out, and she down there wrote me off. She ran there, cast me off. Like, yeah. When she first found out I was in the industry, but you know, now she actually uses the products.
Wow. That's what you wanted to do. You wanted to change the and your name being attached to it. And you honestly, like when you explained a second, being so well spoken about it, I think that's what changes people's thoughts of it. And it's not just some dude standing on the corner selling dime bags anymore.
100, man. When you can talk about it, you can, you know, educate about it. 100% people are more inclined to listen. I mean, everybody want to learn.
Well,
You saying you chose football because of the team aspect of winning, and how that feeling is so different from baseball or other sports. You ain't win a lot in the NFL though, right? And you had this phenomenal first ballot Hall of Fame individual career. But on the other side of that, you didn't have the team success. How difficult was it for you to know I'm excelling as a player, but it's not equating to our team?
Yeah, 100%, man. I think I was fortunate, during that time to have a great coach in Sean Jefferson, man. He was assistant receiver coach my rookie year. So he wasn't able to, lean into me as much as he wanted to. My second year on, dude, like my 6th or 7th year, he was with me, man. I was just fortunate. We went 0-16 my second year.
Yeah.
So that's tough. You sit there and, you can't win a game, but I mean, had a good year though.
Right.
Went for like 1,200, almost 13 though. It's just like, and it's not like garbage time stuff. So it's just like, I had somebody in my ears just like coaching me, help building me, building my character, because when it's easy for me to like, man, when the team's, shit in the bed, it's easy to kind of jump on the bandwagon and just like not give as much effort or not care as much. But nah, he was always there chirping, What did I tell you at the beginning of the season? And what he tell me, he's like, you want to be great this year? Every season, you want to be great this year? You answer the question, what you gonna say? Of course you're gonna say yes. Yeah, coach. Well, I'm gonna coach you like you're gonna be great. And he did that, So I have to give credit where it's due, man, because it wasn't easy. The damn show wasn't easy, but having somebody show me what it looked like, obviously the eye in the sky don't lie. So I'm able to see I was able to see what it looked like, because he showed me when I was giving bullshit effort, and he showed me that's what it's supposed to look like. Even when we're not winning, that's the effort you're supposed to give, even when we down 21-0.
Gotcha.
That's the film. That's what everybody else in the league is looking at. So I was lucky to have somebody like that in my corner.
You went from yellow jacket to gold jacket, but 2012 was something that we've never seen, and we haven't seen it since. You mean to tell me you couldn't get another 36 yards, bro?
Bro, I look back on. I didn't look back on it because I know I had like at least probably like 5 to 10 drops on that season. Probably another like $150, 200 yards. So I look back at it, I was like,
It's on me.
it's on me. Right. That's 36 yards. That's one. That's one. Right. Maybe two.
People viewed you as not just a deep threat, because you took shallows and took it to the house and all sorts of stuff, and you were just a massive threat with what you would do with double teams, triple teams. But looking at your average per catch that year, in the touchdowns that year, you had 5 touchdowns that season, and 16 yards a catch, which was lower than what you were usually doing. That's like kind of oxymoronic for you. Did you pay attention to any of that then? Your attempt to hit 2,000 yards?
I didn't pay attention so much to, I can't lie. I paid attention to the touchdowns because, you see those 19 but 5 touchdowns. But then we look back at it, my coach showing me it's 9 or 10 different plays where I got tackled on the 1 yard line that season. For real, that many, I was like, wow, that's 1 yard. And a lot of them were tough. A lot I just wasn't getting in, but there's dang, I could have maybe kept a little balance or something. I don't know, but there's 9 to 10 plays. I'm like, dang, bro, I got tackled on the 1 yard line. Should.
Was it Dan Orlovsky's fault y'all was 0-16?
it didn't help.
It didn't help running out the back of the end zone. It didn't help. It didn't help that Jared Allen was on his ass the whole game.
But dog ran out.
I'm running the comeback. It was a boot right. I'm running the deep comeback, 20-yard comeback. I'm coming out that thing. I see Roy Williams just running to the sideline. I see all his teeth showing. I'm like, what the fuck you laughing at? Why everybody running off the sideline? He's like, checker. We get to the sideline. He's like, man, that motherfucker ran out the back of the end zone. I'm like, hold on, what? I can't fathom. I can't fathom, man. So I'm waiting until they show it on the replay, and I see it. I'm just like, oh, bro. Right there, he's like, oh, this is going down in history.
Yeah, it's so funny, man, because Detroit fans love Dan now because he's become one of the best analysts in the world. And we were talking to him the other night, and he was like, yeah, but when I was here, all y'all did was boo me. He said everybody hated me. And I looked at him like, they probably should have. You know what I mean? You didn't really do anything for them to cheer for you. But in going through all that, though, what are some of the best memories about being here?
I'll go back straight to that year, 0-16. Two of my dogs still talk to today, Gosser Chairless and Cliff Averill. We're sitting on the bench in Green Bay. It's probably like, between 0 and 10 degrees, little snowflakes and stuff. About 10 minutes left on the clock. I think they still had Brett Favre at the time. I don't know if, I'm not sure. But, damn, you sitting there watching the clock, and you're just like, man, bro. We all looking at each other on the bench, winding down to 0-16. Can't help it now. It's happening. Like, we sitting here like, bro, all of us dead ass serious. Like, bro, I don't know how long I want to do this for. That's how bad 0-16 was, bro. Like, all of us questioning how long we want to do this for. But then, it didn't take long. Like, after, next day, check out. First thing smoking down to Georgia, get back to nice weather. All's good. Until somebody talk about football. But yeah, man, that was bro. That was it.
And bro, it was when you hung it up after 9. The story, my mind went to Megatron tired of losing. He got plenty of money. He got records. Like, he tired of losing. If you were on a perennial playoff team, would you have played longer?
Yeah, I can answer that question. Yeah, 100%, man. It was 100% losing. It didn't help. It didn't help. I was at a time where my body, like you're saying, the preparation that went into it really wasn't willing to go through that no more, just because it zapped all the fun out the game for me. I used to love going through it. I know it's a grind. I know it's gonna hurt, but it just hurt a little bit too much. I was just like, man, like, I can't even, like, I feel like I lost all the elasticity and like the pop, in my ankles and all that. And that combined with the losing, the body just telling you no. I even went to my dad the year before after my 8th season. I was like, Dad, after the season, I'm like, man, I think I'm done, man. Like, I don't love it like I used to. Mm-hmm. And he was like, you think you can do it one more time? I'm sitting on the couch and I'm thinking, as I'm thinking about it before I say anything, he's like, well, since you're thinking about it, you can do it one more time. Right. I was like, I guess I could go out here and, gimp around and all this, but like literally, bro, I didn't feel like I had no pop. Like, I just feel like I was running flat foot, all the time. And so it's just like, I just felt like I couldn't be myself. And I told myself when I started playing, I wanted to play 10 years, I want to have 10,000 yards, just want to make a statement while I'm here. I was able to accomplish most of my goals. I didn't get to the 10-year mark, but I did say that, like, when I'm not able to be myself and feel like I'm myself out there and do the things that I want to do, I'm done. I'm not going to be the one out here just collecting the check. I didn't want that.
You're a competitor, and I love your combine story, right? To go there and to have made a decision, you know what, man, I'm not doing none of this stuff. I'll do it at the school. The film spoke for itself as well. Take me through the thought process of a young Calvin who goes against what he was supposed to do in Indianapolis and runs 4.3.
So we're doing those meetings or whatever, and I weigh out the meat market. You're in there in your drawers and stuff and whatnot, and get my weight. I was right at 240. But everybody was like, whoa, I can almost hear like the action in the room. It was like, oh, like, dang, it's fucking heavy. Right. Everybody think I'd probably be like 230. But it was like, 5% body fat. So I couldn't lose weight, I was just jacked from height, from just muscle. I went to college at like 185, 200, left there at 240. Right. So we're in there, they're doing the weight and all that. And so we get to the interview after they do the weight and everybody's talking about my weight. That's all they want to talk about. They weren't talking about nothing else. I'm like, damn, had a great college career and all this. Y'all just want to talk about me being 240. So then after that, I was like, they was like, well, you can't run. You can't run to being that heavy. Like, can you run a 4.5? Like, I was like, so I called my agent. I was like, hey man, I need some cleats, dog. I'm gonna go ahead and run. He's like, you sure you want to run? I was like, dog. Like, I'm down there training with Tom Shaw. Like, I'm fast. I feel like I'm fast just standing here. Like, that's how we had like 4 of like the top 5, times that year in the combine. From the whole group that was training with us down there in Florida. So I was like, send me my stuff, man. I'm about to go run for these fools. When it ran, and the funny thing was the story, everybody saw the dude give me back my cleats. Yeah. The funny thing is, dude just came ill prepared for his, biggest job interview at the time. He didn't bring his cleats, so I let him borrow my cleats. Just happened that the quarterback wore 15, East Carolina, and they saw him, he's the last one to run. They saw him giving me back my cleats. I'm like, come on, bring my shit. Come on, I gotta get over here. Cause they're like, everybody yelling at me, come on, what you doing? I'm like, trying to get my shit. And so they just saw they saw him giving me my cleats back. So it's like, oh, he didn't even run in his own shoes. Like, so I ain't say nothing. I was like, it's cool, legend. So
It was. Now you ruined the story. I mean, I guess it's too late now. He in the Hall of Fame. He didn't ruin this. That's what made the story good. You know, it went all kind of ways. They was too small. They was too big. You know what I mean? He still ran. And look at Calvin Johnson. These aren't even his shoes. Those shoes are for a midget, and they're for a little person. You know, when to be, you know, all that you were able to be, and then now look back at what you've accomplished as this man, a different man who said, I need to be in a different space in order to be a great husband, in order to be a great father. In what you've now experienced in that part of life, how do you feel about the decision to retire at 30?
Man, I don't look back. It's so much that's happened, you know, since that time. Man, I got house full, you know, I got 3 boys. I got a whole business that is flourishing. You know, it's doing better than, you know, I honestly could have dreamed of. I couldn't have dreamed of being in the place that we are right now with the business. You know, I don't look back. I don't look back. I made a living for myself. I set goals for myself on like kind of where I wanted to be with, you know, the time I put in, where I wanted to be financially. So I was able to accomplish most of those things and get to where that's all I was comfortable. I was content. But I guess, you know, after football, as you know, it's just, you know, I was looking forward to sitting on the couch.
Yeah.
I couldn't wait, you know, putting in work, you know. That didn't last long, you know. It's just that competitive edge that, you know, wanted to accomplish, just that structure that we're so used to having, you know, it keeps pushing you forward, you know. So then you just opened up the business, put on the business hat, you know, tried different things out to try to figure out what stuck, you know. Did my Dancing with the Stars, I franchised, and ended up sticking into finding something that I was passionate about in the cannabis industry, being able to be creative there, and you know, like I said, that and my family take all my time, and really, I mean, at the end of the day, just truly just trying to, you know, bring that same level of excellence that I had on the football field to these things, family and the football. And, you know, still working on it, but definitely working to get there.
What's the toughest part? Because, be honest, bro, you're not Megatron anymore. You're Calvin Johnson's husband, dad. You know what I'm saying? What's the toughest part of not being Megatron?
I don't know if it's not necessarily tough, man, because I never really was one to be in the limelight. You know, I kind of like to be on my, you know, low-key thing, just moving around as I do. But I guess the hardest part, I mean, is just the camaraderie.
Yeah.
I think that's it. You know, I don't miss the weight, pushing the weight. I don't miss pushing niggas around. I don't miss all that. You know, I don't miss, you know, fighting dudes off the line and all, none of that. Yeah. I miss just hanging out, vibing with the guys, you know. And so whenever you get the moments, whether the guys that are on your team or guys like you guys that know the struggle, you know, it's always a good time.
And looking back at having that, right, saying that, okay, the camaraderie is gone, Detroit's different now, right? The Lions are different now, right? There's a buzz around this team that was palpable when the draft started and they had you and Barry on the stage, you know, okay, representing the Lions greats. And then now they had Jared Goff and Hutchinson and Amon-Ra St. Brown. You know, the 2-star receivers of the generations look a little different. You know what I'm saying? One of the guys, you know, is 6'5" and ran 4.3. The new guy is 5'11" and ran 4.6. When you look at this team, though, how much, or is there any pride in seeing Detroit be able to have joy about what's going on in football?
Yeah, man, it's a lot of pride because even though we were 0-16, they still showed up. You know, they always showed up. So there's a ton of pride around this team. You know, I'm excited for these young guys, even more so because Dan is back. You know, I played with Dan my first 2 years here, so you know, being able to you know, embrace him, the soldier that he was when he played. Because man, he's out there playing, starting football games with one shoulder. I don't know if that spoke to him, you know, being a soldier or just the level of talent we had here in Detroit. But you know, either way, you know, the man was a soldier. He's a man amongst, you know, he's a great leader, and he surrounded himself, you know, with great players that played in the league, and that's what I'm so excited about. Because you got guys that played in the league that they can look up to, that been there where they wanted to go. You know, you're gonna have buy-in, and we see those guys buying in.
How do you want to be remembered as a player in your personal life when it's all said and done?
As a receiver, man, just being consistent. You know, I make plays and do that, but I just wanted to be known to be consistent because I was consistently making plays, because I was consistently blocking, because I was consistently doing the right thing, because I was consistently where I needed to be. You know, just being consistent, that's what it's all about. I mean, shoot, more than being the most talented person or individual, you'd rather have that most consistent individual. You know, now if that consistent individual is hella talented,
right?
Shit,
Now you
that's
win.
even better.
Yep,
That's
now
even
you
better.
win.
You know, so yeah.
You know, through your foundation, you know, you did stuff like have camps, and you know, you even started pouring back into the younger generation with some of your knowledge from what you've learned. You've always had a passion for giving back to athletes. Where are you now with that? How are you trying to continue to pour back into people who are now in the shoes that you wore?
I mean, I can tell you where that all started, man. I obviously grew up in a Christian household, but I was fortunate to have a great spiritual mentor in Derek Moore. He was our chaplain at Georgia Tech. Now he is the like player development person over at Gamecocks in South Carolina.
Yeah.
He played in the NFL for a couple of years, but having somebody that, you know, been where you wanted to go, but that looks back down and built me up spiritually, you know, having that in my life was everything for me. So knowing what he was, what he meant to me, knowing that I can go and do that for somebody else, and even if it's just one person, I know the impact that had on me and how it's been able to proliferate from me and stretch beyond me into the community. So if I can do that to one person and see how that thing stretches, I mean, shoot, I'm gonna do it every year. Maybe I could touch one every year, you know, but that's where it comes from.
When you had an opportunity to prepare a Hall of Fame speech, what things were most important for you to communicate to people who didn't know Calvin Johnson?
Man, that was tough, bro. Like, it's so hard to figure out how to thank everybody that helps you get to where you are, to the point, to the Hall of Fame, from childhood to that point in 8 minutes.
Right.
It's tough to be able to tell people how much they meant to you, the things that they did, the characteristics, the traits that they maybe, you know, lived out that helped you to become the person, the individual that you are. That's the hardest part. And so, you know, that's all you're trying to do is how do I thank each level, so from high school or even before high school, you know, if some people go back to elementary, like, how do I thank all these different levels? And then with each level, there's just more and more. You know, and it's just, man, that was the hardest part, being able to do that. And I had to take all the names out of my list.
Right.
I was like, man, I had names in my speech. My wife and I were working on it like literally like up like 3 a.m. the night before, because I'm like, I got names in my speech, but I don't have all the names.
I might miss some people.
I'm going to miss people.
Right.
And I don't want people to feel a certain kind of way. You know, so how do we cover that? How do we make sure everybody's covered? So we figured out a way to do that, along with, you know, just making it, you know, more personal. Because I had a coach, but we kind of made it, you know, she was like, that don't sound like you. You know, so we kind of made it more sound like me, a little more personal. But you know, she was up with me getting that thing right 3 a.m. before the speech.
You have like a very successful family. When you talk about your immediate family, it's like a family of geniuses. You know, and you mentioned your mother already. You also mentioned the way that your father worked. I read a really, really amazing story about your parents. The guy who wrote the story was a lifelong Detroit Lions fan. And he said he goes to a preseason game, and at the preseason game, your parents sitting next to him. So he asked him a question to probe and see if that was your dad, and it was. And he asked your dad, like, did he have any advice for being a father? And he said, your dad said something first, and then he came back and told him, just be there for your kids. And he talked about always making sure they made it to your games as a professional, whether it was preseason, which we know you wasn't going to play, or regular season. What was it like, man, to have the ability to feel his love, but also learn from that?
That's it, man. Exactly what you said, man. That's a great story. But it's really just about being there. You know, more than being perfect, you know, just being available, you know, for your kids. I think in everything, just how do you be great at anything? Are you available to be great in the first place, you know? And I think that that's what my dad did. Like I said, he was on call all the time, but when he was at home, it was our time. Daddy, you know, he's tired. Walking up and down the railroad, getting up and down on the train, but you know, he come home and he knows it's time for us. You know, so he was just selfless. And to that point, it's just available. So I think to your point earlier, just how you're a great father, just be there, like I say, obviously, show up. Just show up.
There's always a struggle in every story. There's always a struggle, like just listen to it. Great father, great mother, baby genius, Georgia Tech, like, I'm sitting here waiting for the struggle. Like, it's always something when you have a Hall of Fame dude that's just like, yeah, this happened and like I had to get through it. But no, I'm 6'4" in 9th grade. Like, I can run a 4.3. Like, I always look for that struggle. Was there any struggle? It was just like, I'm Megatron. Fuck y'all.
I mean, man, I just think back, man. You got in trouble. We didn't get in trouble where everybody know about it. It didn't get ESPN.
Yeah.
But I really worked hard to use how you spoke earlier to keep my nose clean, keep my brand clean for a reason, man. Because I know there's life after football. And if I want to have a brand and I want to be able to go in and step into the rooms that I want to step in, I can't be out here acting foolish, doing stupid stuff on my social media. I'm trying to be professional. I'm trying to walk in a room with a billionaire. I ain't trying to be out here on the streets and shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's just, just trying to model myself for what's next. Always trying to just be conscious of that, because a lot of guys aren't. And that's when you motherfuckers be out here on their social media doing stupid stuff and people looking. That's how you're evaluating people now. That's how you're evaluating talent. That's how you're doing your background checks nowadays. So just trying to be conscious of where I'm going. That's all. Just trying to keep my nose clean.
Yeah.
One of my favorite questions. I'm probably the one that asks it the most. The biggest pivot question, which is that one moment you can look back on and say, without this moment, it wouldn't be me. I wouldn't be the person that I am today.
Yeah, 100%, man. I had an internal battle, I think, when I got to college, just trying to figure out who I am. Like, where am I going? Like, what's my identity? And like I said, I was fortunate to have my spiritual mentor and Derek Moore show up on time. And there was a moment, we used to go on these retreats. You're in college, man, you living fast, bro. It's just like, I didn't have like many guardrails. I was raised in a Christian household, but I was straying away from that a little bit, just living, just having a good time, living that college life. But inside of me, though, it's just like, a little irritability, a little frustration, just because, like I say, it wasn't like I was out here, hurting people doing it. It just wasn't living right.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So, over time, I was, joined FCA. Demo, Derek Moore, invited me to join the FCA, started going on these retreats and stuff like that. And it wasn't until we went on this retreat, it was in the North Georgia or Tennessee mountains or something like that. We up in these cabins and all that. We have a good time during the day, socialize, and in the evening we come together and worship. At the end of the worship, there's a Clemson chaplain at the time, I forget his name. He would always stand up. He was like, "Does anybody want to stand up and give their life to Christ right now?" And the second day, or was it the third day? It's the second or third day. I'm sitting there, and we're sitting in the room, and we're doing our worship, praise, and it was a great trip. So he come to that moment. He was like, "Does anybody want to stand up and give their life to the Lord right now?" And I'm sitting there like, I know I need to stand my ass up. I'm out here in these streets. I know what I need to be doing, but I ain't doing it. Demo's trying to get me right, and I ain't doing what he's talking about. Just I'm not living right. So I swear to God, bro, I'm sitting here like, I know I need to stand my ass up. Next thing I know, I felt like the man talking to my face. And I opened my eyes, I'm standing up. I'm like, bro, I don't remember standing up, dog. Wow. But I swear to God, I swear I was just like, damn, boy, I know that. Next thing I know, he's like, "Thank you, brother, you gonna give your life to Christ." And I'm sitting here like, oh, shoot, it's me.
Right.
But he's like, walked down, but that was a moment for me that pushed me past being afraid of stepping up in front of my peers, kinda. And at the end of the day, it just helped me to step out and be like, all right, this is what I'm about. This is my ID.
I'm always fascinated by when we get an opportunity to talk to Hall of Fame players, because you guys vary in personality, right? There's the Hall of Fame guy that when he gets into the Hall of Fame, you knew how important it was to him, because you could see they played the game as long as they possibly could, and they wore that on their chest. You didn't live Megatron. Megatron was the name they gave you because you played football, right? It wasn't necessarily who you were, but it was the job you did. Troy Polamalu was one of my best friends, and I knew that making it to the Hall of Fame was a blessing for him, but that wasn't why he did it. right? He wasn't just hanging on to that. We talked to Ed Reed. We asked Ed about it. I'm thinking he's gonna say he's excited. He's like, man, I wanted to give it to Steve Atwater, like the Hall of Fame is something you can pass around. You know, he's like, I ain't care. He's like, I told him they could put me in the next year. Did that matter to you? Did being recognized amongst the greats in the game, did it affect you when you were told?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you just being, you know, in the same ring as just, you know, the guys that built the game. I mean, we all built the game, a part of this game, but, you know, just being, you know, in the room with those gentlemen, man, 100% it does, but it's not that you know, it wasn't anything that when you're playing, you're thinking about. You know, I think, you know, a lot of reasons guys get there is just how you carry yourself on the day-to-day. You know, I think, I just go back to, like, my dad always told me, you know, anything you do to the best of your ability.
Right.
I mean, I try to do that. Maybe I don't do it all the time, but when I'm really focused and dialed in, I do.
I think the one thing I take away from this, though, man, is, you know, I was 5'11", 185 pounds when I got to the league. Like, the way I adapted to the professional life was a necessity for me, right? I couldn't be on the field with you or Channing or Fred if I didn't live that way. Like, I knew I wasn't blessed. I didn't leave the hospital with enough. You left the hospital with everything, right? But the way you talked about preparing for the game, like, that's why you end up, you know, where you are, man. So we appreciate your time, bro. We've been wanting to do this for a while now,
I'm
dog.
glad to get on here, man.
Because it's like talking to, like, an urban legend. It's like, I know he was alive, I just never heard him talk. You know?
He has words.
We do want to give a special shout out to your sister and what's the other young lady's name? Matisha.
So my older sister, Erica, we call her Shay. Keisha, big sister, and then Patisha, little sister. That's all. They cheated all the time, bro. That's what got me right, though.
They brought that pressure.
They did.
So salute to them.
Appreciate you, dog.
100%, man. 100%. All love, man. All love, baby. Yeah. Yes, sir.
He's talking about, yeah, like,
Absolute
what you doing treatment for? We can't cover you no way.
Hold up, limitless. Niggas to me, got pin in it. I fought the head to witness it. Got my people feeling militant. Way I'm feeling, got me up. On the mission, got me up. Knowing me, I got the key. On the vision, I can trust. Limitless. Niggas to me, got pin in it. I fought the head to witness it. Got my people feeling militant. Way I'm feeling, got me up.